Puyo Tetris 2!
Sega... Tetris... Sega still has to explain the logo what this game is. But hey, Puyo Puyo Tetris, which is not even the main series entry, received the sequel. That fact itself is a really pleasant surprise. Auto difficulty. While it should make the adventure mode more accessible to everyone, I didn't turn it on, I don't know. It does not address the core issue I have with this game's difficulty. It's not quantified. Pretty much every other competitive game gives you a list of AI difficulties to choose from, so why not Puyo Puyo Tetris? Say I enter versus mode and want to fight a normal opponent or a hard opponent, I can't do that. All I can do is pick a character for the AI by instinct and pray it's the right difficulty. Puyo Puyo Tetris 2 on Switch finally includes both voice languages, but the interface is still only in English. It's 2020 already, why are game interfaces still region locked? On the other hand, it's 2020 already and we still have cheat codes in games. Input this code to basically unlock everything. This is hyper useful for those who want to buy the game and then jump straight into multiplayer, or in my case, straight into footage capturing. There are plenty of games that sell this feature for real money, so kudos to Sega for keeping it old school. Colorblind filters. For a game so dependent on colors, it makes you wonder why did it not include them earlier, but hey, better late than never. The problem mode returns from champions. It's a nice addition, but I do have one issue with it. After you solve a problem, there's no option to start the next one right away. You gotta return to the problem select screen, select the next one, and wait for the game to load again. This adds up to waste quite a lot of time.
It's such a peaceful day. So peaceful and quiet.
First, they repeat the exact same lines because dreams and deja vu. And now they do it again because there's a convenient universal amnesia. What's gonna be next? Time loop? One scene for every line recycled verbatim.
Actually, come to think of it, as great as peace is, it's actually kind of boring. It'd be more fun if something crazy and over the top happened. Like if all my friends just came bursting out of the sky. But that's nonsense. Something like that would never happen on such a peaceful day, right? Huh? Oh my! What's happening? I think someone's bursting out of the sky!
Let's do this.
Puyo Puyo time!
Tetris time! It's on!
He doesn't play Puyo Puyo?
She doesn't play Tetris?
But that's... Oh no! We're starting! We were still able to battle even though he was using blocks instead of Puyos. He's your... engineer? How does your ship stay afloat?
Don't worry.
It's so peaceful, I could just sing at the top of my lungs.
Finally, Ringo sings. Thank you.
Ouch!
T survives a fall from the sky.
Hey, Mr. Tight Clothes Skydiver?
T's jumpsuit is so tight, no one ever looks at other parts of him. Also, just so you know, Ringo, skydivers usually wear parachutes.
I was just about to remember something, but you crashed so hard you made me forget again.
The auto dialogue is sometimes behind the audio by a few seconds, and it's irritating.
And you've got some serious skills. Lining those shapes up and erasing them, you made it look like a piece of cake.
Technically, T should be unable to understand this idiom because cakes don't exist in his world.
I'm Captain T of the SS Tetra. I'm also the Tetris King.
Good, this time he didn't wait 3 acts to reveal that.
If the worlds merge, we'll be consumed by unimaginable chaos.
I mean, the last time this happened, all we got were 3 possessed girls, and it took only 2 battles each to fix them. I say it's pretty imaginable, X.
You need to discover what and who is causing all of this. Well, I'm off.
You're what now? Jeez, I didn't mean to yell at him, but what the heck? So abrupt.
This bit feels weird to me. You are what now? It's a perfectly valid response, and Ringo doesn't usually reflect on her own words this much. What's going on here? Originally, Ringo said "nandeanen," which is basically what, but in Kansai dialect, and is usually used as a comically exaggerated response to outrageous statements. Ringo does not speak Kansai dialect, so suddenly saying "nandeanen" is both out of character and stronger than her usual speech pattern. Therefore, reflecting on it would make sense. I think localization could have handled this a bit better.
Are you going to help us or not?
I'm sorry, Ringo, but I have matters of my own to tend to.
What matters? His job as a keeper of dimensions? He did mention that he can never leave the edge of space-time, but he's contradicting that right now, so I don't know what's straining him anymore. When confused, make thinking sounds. This is now officially rule number 2 of the Puyo Puyo universe.
You're handling this quite well.
Yep, I stay calm during extreme situations. It's a strong suit of mine.
Sure, Ringo. Sure. The game saves replays of every battle without telling you. That on itself is not really problematic, but soon you run out of space and see this not enough space dialogue all the time, and it becomes annoying. Then you realize there's no option to turn it off.
Guys, this is Maguro. He's a fellow classmate and my childhood friend.
Maguro finally receives a proper introduction. Thank you.
I think I get it now.
So some mysterious guy shows up out of the blue and tells you that the world's in serious trouble. And now you, he, and his little yellow companion O are on a mission to find out who's behind all the bizarre stuff going on. But you don't have a single clue about it.
Sound about right?
Battles induce telepathy now? Hey, you know what, why am I even surprised?
And listening to you go over our predicament again is making my head spin.
So much for being undaunted, huh?
Ringo will be great at gaming scenes.
My life's work has all led up to this moment, this experiment. I certainly hope a random stranger doesn't try to talk to me.
Rizukuma is a tsundere.
Aw, yeah, that's all the motivation I need. Time to find our culprit. Maybe we'll get lucky and find them around here somewhere. I imagine they'd be wandering around, mumbling about worlds merging.
Yeah, sure. As if something so astronomically improbable could ever...
T will be great at gaming scenes.
Is that...
Our culprit?
Seeing that she appeared in chapter 1, no, definitely not.
There are a bunch of Puyos and Tetraminos up ahead.
Why does the background not change to reflect that? This is a downgrade from Puyo Puyo Tetris 1. Actually, if you look further back, in the Fever games, characters could move around on the screen, so the cutscene's expressiveness had been on a constant decline. I guess next time we'll get PowerPoint slides for cutscenes.
It seems we must clear them out in order to pass through.
Puyo Tetris battle!
I should have questioned this a long time ago, but when they're only trying to clear Puyos and Tetraminos, there's no point in battling because battles involve garbage Puyos and garbage lines, which slow them down.
Carl and I were just having a Puyo battle. Why'd I get warped again?
Why are you still surprised about this?
And I'm gonna be a great magician one day! Oh, there it is! Your signature catchphrase.
My friend has probably heard this a million times already, but I absolutely have to tell you my dream right now.
This is T, and he promised to let me ride in his starship one day. Didn't you, T?
Ringo ships herself, almost literally this time.
So, let's keep on searching. Okay, and make sure to keep your ears open.
Implying that her ears are usually closed.
And listen real hard for a goo-goo.
Goo?
You have a mascot that says PB all the time. What do you not understand about Google?
After all, O and I are comrades for life and totally inseparable. Hey, where's O?
I thought you two were totally inseparable.
Great at gaming scenes, blah blah blah.
Well, there is a surefire way to calm your nerves. Yeah. You thinking what I'm thinking?
Are you thinking what I'm thinking, cliche?
After you all left, I took it upon myself to investigate the anomaly. My goal was to track it down and pinpoint its location. I had to invent an entirely new device to accomplish this heroic deed.
It only took him the time of 4 battles. This squirrel bear terrifies me. I have multiple issues with this screen. First, if I want to see what these skills do, I have to start a battle, then quit, then go through like 10 menus before I finally open up the character info panel. Second, I can't return from this screen to team select. So if I realize my team is not helpful towards the star goals, I have to start a battle, then quit, then launch the stage again just to select another team. What the heck is a Tetris T-spin single? Does it mean Tetris or T-spin single? I haven't played skill battles very much, so I don't have a strong opinion yet. I hear that it takes an incredibly painful grind to stand any chance in multiplayer, but hey, that's not my problem. I do want to mention one Tetris opener taught to me by my viewers during live streams. Soft drop anything in the bottom left corner, activate S's Terraformer, then drop a Night Tetramino. That's a 2 combo plus Tetris plus perfect clear in only 2 to 3 drops. It feels a bit unfair, but hey, it gets me through almost every single skill battle in the adventure mode, so I like it.
There you are!
S survives a fall from the sky. At this point, I'm convinced that physics, biology, and anatomy don't work in this universe.
What were you thinking, huh? Why would you leave me behind?
As is revealed later, T didn't really have a choice in this. And S knows this too, yet she still unloads her rage on T. What a brat.
Okay. Well, first and foremost, I'm glad to see you again too, S.
T is a masochist. Each stage having a 4 star is a nice way to add replay value, but now I have to play each stage at least twice if I want all the stars.
I may have just met S, but I can already tell there's more to her beneath the surface.
In-game hunches are always perfectly accurate cliché.
Then you, Captain I'm so boring I make dirt exciting, just show up out of nowhere.
Pretty sure Dirt can't skydive.
So, this mysterious person you're all after, this Marl, I guess I'll help you find her. Well, better drag everyone else out of the SS Tetra.
I don't see a connection here. If they intend to continue investigation from aboard SS Tetra, shouldn't they drag people into it, not out?
I'm on a starship. STAR ship. I'm on a starship. So, do you and the others live on the ship, S? You're so lucky. I wish I had your life.
According to T, they don't even know what a shop is. I don't think life on a starship is as good as you think it is, Ringo.
First off, this is the common area. This is where the crew gathers for meetings.
That's a very well-equipped meeting room you got there. I'm sure no one ever gets distracted during those meetings.
I could have sworn I just saw a chihuahua in a swanky outfit pass by just now. It was sprinting at full speed on 2 legs, and it was howling the whole time. Does this not sound insane to anyone else?
You have a senpai of unknown race walking on 2 feet. What do you not understand about I?
Yeah! We haven't shoved your head in a bucket, and it's already way after breakfast.
And we didn't slip a single firecracker under the door while you were in the bathroom.
And did you find any rocks in your food today? I don't think so.
This suddenly went from pranks to outright murder.
Let's go find I.
Absolutely.
Ringo mixed up a new word, redux.
If I recall correctly, it was making its way to the engine room, whatever it was.
This is bad. The engine room is the heart of the SS Tetra.
This is your friendly reminder to not design starships with a single point of failure.
You are a good girl, and you did a good job, S.
And they ask you how you are, and they just have to say that you are fine, but you're not really fine. They just can't get you in because they will never understand.
Well, this is going to be awkward. Hey there, S.
Congratulations, you just made it 10 times more awkward.
My name is Zed. I am a crew member of the SS Tetra. I perform a variety of tasks on the ship. My primary purpose is to oversee the well-being of my fellow crewmates.
We finally have an explanation of why he forced Arlo to eat those vegetables, and why his spells are about nutrition.
My memories regarding this matter appear to be compromised. It may be a minor bug. A bug this small can be squashed with our usual procedures.
Hold on a minute, I am a programmer, I play Tetris, but I still write countless bugs. Am I not worthy of the magical debugging capabilities of the Tetris god?
Say, Ringo, maybe you could give it a try.
You sure you're okay with me doing it?
Of course, I'm counting on you. Besides, after watching all these battles from the sidelines, you must be itching to battle yourself, aren't you?
What a gentleman. I approve of this show of consideration. Before we continue, I need to comment on the map screen. Puyo Puyo Tetris 2's map screen is so unpleasant to read, it's almost like they designed it to be difficult. It's drawn in this weird isometric angle, appears neither 2D or 3D, and causes more than necessary pathways to be cut out by other UI elements. Too many things compete for my attention. The rotating Tetraminos, the jumping Puyos, the excessively decorated pathways, the landmarks, even the background. In comparison, my character, which I should be focusing on, just blandly floats a tiny bit. It would be easy to track my character across the map if it moves from stage to stage, but it doesn't. It just disappears and reappears. There's also this grid that complicates things further without providing any benefit. All in all, I think this map screen is a design disaster. At the same time, the shortcut menu is so convenient and easy to navigate, it's almost sarcastic. One scene for every map. While we're here, what's with this space below Chapter EX? Looks like we can fit another chapter here, but Sega didn't announce any plan for extra story chapters, so are we looking at the remains of cancelled content?
Yeah. Maybe it's time to address the big mechanical elephant in the room.
That's not very polite to Zed.
For questioning my relationship with Papa, you must suffer my wrath.
You and Zed have a special bond between you two. That much is undoubtedly undeniable. And nothing anyone says or does can ever change that.
This bit is supposed to be emotional, except we the players have already gone through this once before. And now it feels like the game is just forcing emotions into us. This is when the background should turn red.
Puyo Puyos are appearing!
This is when Puyo Puyo should be appearing. Come on now, this is awkward.
When we all battled, lots of power was released. Marl then absorbed all that power for herself. It means that the more we use our abilities and spells in battle, the more power Marl accumulates.
Sounds like the plot of every single crossover game ever. Oh wait, Puyo Puyo Tetris is also a crossover game.
That's why I think this whole fun thing is a bunch of baloney. No, you're wrong. Hey, I think you're starting to get through to her.
Is this where we defeat the final boss with a friendship speech?
Looks like you're in a pickle.
No, they are in a starship.
And pickles are too sour. What you need is a healthy dose of sugar. I got candies, jellies, macaron, cream puffs, what else?
I should have questioned this a long time ago, but why is Lemurs not obese? And why is not jailed yet, giving candies to little girls everywhere?
All I know is that you're involved in the print incident. So if you don't mind, I'll need you to come with me.
And so T gets kidnapped twice in one game. Poor guy.
I'm here! Say!
Finally, every single stage, even those purely meant for practice, has a story. Thank you.
Normally I'd go all out on opponents who pose a threat, but since you're ladies, I promise I'll go easy on you.
You lost to Ringo one chapter ago. I don't know where you got that confidence from.
Alright, your funeral.
Ringo, you are not fighting to death here.
Hey, Essie! Do not call me that. Actually, don't talk to me at all.
Okay, Essie. I'll never call you that again, Essie. No problem, Essie.
It's simple. You just have to do that one thing. Right. You know the thing.
Amity plays the pronoun game.
Ready when you are. Okay. Hope you're ready, cause I totally am.
Very convincing.
Oh, I need you for a moment.
As is revealed later, these stages tell the story of how T, O, and S came to Ringo's world, so they happened before Chapter 1. Non-linear storytelling.
You give the same exact report every single day without fail. What's the point? Does it even serve a purpose?
I never really questioned it before.
Starts questioning the traditional practices only after practicing a million times cliche.
You're right. It's my duty to make a report, even though there's never been any problems out here. It's so peaceful and quiet.
Makes you wonder what would happen if T did not incant this jinx. Maybe then X would not appear, T would not meet Ringo and save the world, unimaginable chaos would unfold and everyone dies. Therefore, as repetitive as this joke is, you gotta appreciate this butterfly effect. That, or I'm so tired of this joke I'm going insane.
Are you kidding me? Get back here, you kidnapping little... If I just could get my hands on you!
As much a brat as she is, this time I do have sympathies for her. X is not treating his own daughter very well.
They were kidnapped! That keeper of dumb suspenders took them!
Okay, this might be the best suspender joke yet.
He is only panicking because T is the glue that holds the crew together.
Except glue has way more personality than T.
Pretty sure glue cannot let out uncharacteristic shrieks.
T and O are beyond my tracking device's range. But you two hold a mysterious power that's activated when you hold hands.
Finally, J and L have a purpose. Thank you.
I never thought I'd be using it like this, but if you battle this version of T, it should help you.
Wait, I can battle this thing?
People can battle, ghosts can battle, mascots can battle, and now a hologram can battle. Maybe next time SS Tesha will also battle and we'll get some space combat.
By the power bestowed upon me as the SS Tetris highly respected first mate, I'll guide us to our destination, uncharted territory, be darned!
This arc finally shows us in action S's capabilities and bravery as a first mate, and this is so much better than just telling us about it.
I need to know if I can really believe what you're saying. How do I know you're someone I can trust?
You trust Ringo, Ringo trusts Amity, Amity trusts Lamorous, that's how. Chain of trust.
Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
Cliché. Look at that branching path in the Puyo Puyo game. Except I can't get a good shot of all three paths because this map is horrible.
That's when I learned that it wasn't a something that was watching us. It was a some who.
Inanimate objects don't usually watch people, so you don't really need to learn that.
Well, for starters, some call her the dimensional parasite, because she wants the Puyo Puyo and Tetris dimensions merged.
That's not what parasites do, that's a mixing stick. Maro the dimensional mixing stick. To get Adaro's terrible aquatic pounds, here we go.
Hey! The party has officially started! Well now, what's with all the shad expressions? Now, let's not get caught up in the deets. It's time to boogie! Don't waste this opportunity! Can't say I'm too sure what's going on. All we can do is keep clam and have Finn battling. Woo! Can't shake this dancing eelin'. Yo, Yellowfin, how's a trout a little dancing? Come on! My hop step will totally school you. Let's dance! Let's battle! What are you waiting for, Skipper? Whatever it was, all that tension and anxiety I had, Skedadata at your service. My God, how did you know? Well, let's see. I think she went swimming on into the deep end of the woods. I'm not too sure what y'all are scheming, but good luck. If you need me again, just say the word. Your fish is my command.
If the dimensional parasite corrupts you, then you end up like this. You'll wander around mindlessly challenging anyone to battle.
Maro the dimensional T-virus.
This is just a hunch, but maybe battling someone who does know what's going on can snap him out of it.
In-game hunches are always perfectly accurate, cliché.
Hey, dancing fishman, did you happen to run into a strange girl with a crazy laugh?
Not specific enough, Ringo. I know multiple girls who fit that description.
No, it's not the search that's bugging me. It's not knowing where to look that bothers me. It's the worst.
2 chapters ago, you didn't know where to look either, but you were just fine.
Ecolo?
Another friend, Ringo?
Yeah. This is Ecolo.
You're being too nice to this sim machine.
He's definitely been corrupted.
Doesn't seem corrupted to me, he's always like that.
I'm so happy! So much fun! I can barely contain it!
Not sure if this is his parody of Ringo's singing habits, but...
Please help me!
Hello, friends. You guys are definitely my friends, right? I guess what I'm trying to say is, are you both still yourselves?
This scene is supposed to be a normal person looking for a corrupted person, but the way Amity worded it, it feels like the opposite. So, good job, Amity.
You really do care about me, don't you, Rafina? Maybe I do, maybe I don't.
Rafina is a tsundere.
Look at the way his head is tilted to the side. He's just staring blankly at his red left hand.
His portrait is not doing either of those though.
Oh, Amity. And Ragamuffin.
By the way, in the Japanese version he says La Hena.
Some girl I've never seen before came by earlier wanting to battle.
This might be the most complex sentence Sig has ever spoken.
Oh, I almost forgot. We're looking for someone, Sig. A girl.
That's even worse than Ringo's description earlier. I know like 20 people who fit this description.
Okay.
And we sure could use your help.
Okay.
Wow, thanks. Then let's go.
Okay, bye.
Not sure if he said that intentionally, but either way.
Do you know how hard I have to try just to avoid you?
Shut up! I could say the same thing about you! But...
Hey, Feli? No, don't cry.
Despite being constantly bullied, Klook still cares about Feli. Not sure if he's tsundere or masochist.
You could say we're in a bit of a bind. I wouldn't say no if you were to, offer your assistance.
Tsundere it is.
We should just leave Four Eyes here if you ask me.
Four Eyes cliche, and surprise surprise, this time it comes from Rafina.
Especially that creeper.
Who is this creeper you speak of, Arl?
Whoa, this time it didn't even take any shouting.
Do you appear out of thin air when people say the word creeper?
Yes.
No, I just want you.
I'm surprised this line wasn't said in Puyo Puyo Tetris 1 because it's his signature line in Japanese. Anyway, Shazo the Creeper.
No, wait! What I meant to say was, I just want you to confirm something.
Hey, he can correct his own sentences now. Improvement.
I'm working really hard to fix this bad habit. I'll be on top of this soon enough. I'll even be on top of you, too.
Yep, that's the Shazo we know and love, single-handedly reaching the game's 8 rating as always. Anyway, we have one more scene in this round of Shazo the Creeper.
I shall have you!
Shazo. I want you!
Oh no, Witch also caught the Shazo.
Have you come to your senses, witch?
I feel funny. Like a bunch of clouds and webs were just sucked out of my ears.
According to Lammers, only battling someone who knows what's going on can fix the corrupted people. Yet Shazo doesn't know what's going on, he's still waiting to hear that from Arl. Therefore, Witch shouldn't be fixed here.
Why, if it isn't Arl, arch nemesis of Lady Rulu, queen of martial arts.
You're literally the only one who thinks that way.
Look! Everyone's here!
Except Waluigi.
Oh, by the way, we're looking for the Dark Prince.
Awesome, now there are 2 people that Arl can summon and will.
It is I, the nobility of the night, the chaperone of the shadows, the gallant of the gloom.
Not gonna lie, we can learn a bit of literature too from him. So this counts as a win?
Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Now, Arlie, accept the aid of the Dark Prince, and may your passions for me burn brighter than 1,000 suns.
That will possibly form a black hole and kill everyone.
Oh, that's my Arlie, my love, my fiancé.
You are literally the only one who thinks that way.
What are you saying?
This line is lower than it should be, and it bothers me.
Just promise you'll stop what you're doing right now. Sorry, but no candy. She's getting away again!
Given how she has escaped from everyone twice already, you'd think Dark Prince and Nakolo would think of a way to prevent a 3rd escape, but now I see there's too much expectation on them. Suketo Dara's terrible aquatic puns, round 2.
I said wakey wakey salmon steaky. Well, aren't you looking saltier than seaweed? You won't sail far if you keep staring off into space. Get up on your feet and move to the beat. I want to see you raving and waving those noodly fins. Hush your crab trap. That's suckerfish talk, you dig? Now you're gonna watch me get my groove on and you're gonna like it. Carpiche? Right on, fish fry! Let's get jiving with a Puyo battle! Ho ho! That was about as fun as stepping on a sea urchin! Hey, hey, hey! this torpedo's been launched, and it ain't slowing down. Oh, yeah! Let's get splashing.
So what's she saying?
Never change, Zig.
There's just something I have to look into, but it's nothing you need to worry about.
By now he knows Fatty is affected, therefore Cloak has a lot to worry about. It's not nice to lie, Lemurus.
But I think I fit the bill perfectly. You know, as a helpful, handsome, intelligent hero.
Not sure about the second one, especially with his rules all over the place.
Magro, Reese, we need your help.
10-4.
Based on my observations, our culprit isn't exactly the well-behaved sort.
These two did not ride the Tetra back in Chapter 2, so how did they get here?
What about me, Ringo?
You're at large. Just keep your eyes peeled for trouble.
That sounds like a job for someone without any skills.
Well, yeah, that does sound like you. But you said it, not me.
He did force Morrow into the open earlier, so give him some credit, Ringo.
I won't let you through. I won't let you.
I can't bring myself to look at her.
That doesn't sound like you at all. The girl whose stare can crush an entire family of cockroaches from across the room?
Weirdly specific. So is it canon now that Aro kills cockroaches by staring?
You can't bust out freshwater moves in a saltwater scene, catch my drift? So let's blow them out of the water, baby!
It's a short one, but that was Aquatic Pawns round 3.
Upon successful capture, she'll be in our custody.
Custody schmustody. Let's just tie her feet to the ceiling and let her dangle upside down. A few days of that, and she'll be begging for mercy.
As his sadism reaches new heights.
Let us avoid violence.
If you say so, Papa. Violence is definitely not the answer. It's cruel and pointless.
Well, that seemed like a healthy change in attitude.
T would be great at gaming scenes.
It's time we helped the dimensional parasite. We'll battle her until she's rid of her pain and loneliness.
That's still violence though.
Piece of cake.
I take it that T learned about cakes from Lemurs off screen.
I'm sorry to ask, but please, I need your help. It takes courage to ask for help.
It also takes 4 entire chapters. Don't know about you, but I think these chapters are longer than necessary.
Thank you all so much. Hear, hear. I'd like to say a few words. Ahem. All's well that ends well.
Missed chance to say plethora.
What do you think you're doing, Marl?
Plot twist. The supposed villain is actually under the real villain's control. Mind blown. I absolutely definitely did not see this coming. Wow.
They're so tiny.
I'm not sure if the dimensional parasite is responsible for them.
I can confirm she's not. Tiny Puyo has been available since Puyo Puyo Tetris 1.
Here I go! Nothing can stop the might of 100 Klooks!
But there's only one of you. As always, when some line is weird, blame localization. The original text is これで100人力だ, which I believe is a metaphor, meaning I feel as powerful as 100 people. Localization took the literal meaning and called it a day, it seems.
I appreciate how much she seems to admire me, but I just never know what to do in these situations.
Congratulations, you now understand how Ringo and Aro feel 24/7. As for what to do, just shoot a calculus or bio-in like they always do.
So after a set interval, Puyos and Tetraminos alternate.
This is such a pain!
Can confirm, it's painful to track 2 boards at once.
The key is to take advantage of the alternating fields and to strike with successive moves. There are probably certain things you can only do with this rule set.
Whoa, they actually talk about the rules in depth in the cutscene. That's new. Squares' outfit carries a strong square motif, and in comparison, Morrow's outfit has circles everywhere. So why is Morrow not called Circles? Actually, she is called that, kind of, in the Japanese version. Over there, her name is Maru, and the word for circle is Maru. Now, localization has always translated character names to be phonetically similar to the originals. except Dark Prince. So Maro keeps up this consistency, but I do feel a little pity that the duality between squares and circles is lost here.
It seems your usefulness has run its course. At least you were able to gather some power for me. Farewell, Maro.
In pretty much every other game, the villain kills their pawns when they outlive their usefulness. But I guess they can't do that in this E-rated game.
I don't exactly know what Squares and I are. Are you talking crazy?
Ringo?
It was just so sudden. My brain couldn't process it before my mouth started making sounds.
Ringo is officially too good at gaming scenes.
Something happened. Something different. It was... Sorry. Time out!
Dialogue gets cut off at the important part cliché.
He wanted to force the worlds to merge. He believes he can find the conflicts that called out to each other and erase them.
The conflicts were standing right before him one stage ago, and yet he fled. Huge wasted chance.
Come on, smile. Smile.
Hey!
Smile.
Ekalo! Why do you gotta do things we can't even show to the audience?
Oh, sorry, that was just the fourth wall making weird noises.
There's no excuse for my actions, whether I was in control or not.
Being not in control is a perfectly valid excuse though.
I don't think they really deserve to be called your friend.
Don't worry, Maro. Amity's the master of picking friends.
Yeah, you got Amity's seal of approval.
That seal of approval hardly means anything when almost everyone is everyone else's friend in this universe.
Harley, forgive me for springing this on you so suddenly, but will you indulge me in a battle? One that burns with passion, as I burn for thee!
It would be easier to forgive you if you can state the reason the battle are up front. By not doing that, you are just being the sid machine you always are.
But you and the others just don't have what it takes to face squares.
But Dark Prince has what it takes, so why doesn't he just do it? The same goes for Ekalo and X.
Squares and I are two sides of the same coin. If any harm comes to him, there's no telling what might happen to any of our worlds.
Okay, I didn't expect the game to actually answer that question.
The Dark Prince and I will help you find squares. So you better get real strong real fast, Ringo.
Since they can't harm squares, it sounds like they should practice oratory, not battling. This twitch when he closes one eye.
This starship ain't even ready for these seasick moves. Ooh, baby.
Aquatic Palms round 4. Yeah, that's it.
I'm hungry. Isn't there anything to eat around here?
Yes, there is. Someone take her to the greenhouse.
We're going to see the Keeper of Dimensions?
I'll try to get us to our destination as quickly as possible.
What happened to the portal between the Tetra and the edge of spacetime? Conveniently wiped out by the universe reset?
I finally found a rival worthy enough to face me in a beauty pageant!
Huh? What are you even talking about?
Poor Draco. Let's hope she can eventually find her opponent someday.
Let's move on to round 2.
Is it just me, or are you taking this whole thing a little too seriously?
Remember when Ness and Maguro bonded off-screen back in Puyo Puyo Tetris 1, making their heartfelt farewells weird? This time we finally see some on-screen interactions between these two, and it's nice. This is also the first time we see Maguro lead the story for a bit, rather than just responding to Ringo. Our Kendama boy finally gets his time to shine.
Why don't we compete for who's the most handsome? Why don't you participate, Shezo?
Huh? Why me?
Doesn't your name mean gorgeous Adonis who defies the gods?
Whoa, be careful with those lore bombs there.
Well, muscular bodies keep me satisfied.
Didn't know he's into those, but I won't judge.
Seriously, you're a friendly, cool-headed genius, and you light up the room wherever you go.
But he's right. Nobody else comes close, Lemurus.
I'm dedicating this to the true personification of perfection, the Dark Prince.
This has quickly become the battle of the Sims.
We won, my Dark Prince.
You performed marvelously, Rulu.
Fantastic work. Oh, my Dark Prince, anything for you. Please come closer. My, your hair is absolutely flawless.
Not saying Rulu and Dark Prince should be together, but it'll be a huge waste if they don't do something together with their imagination. Maybe co-author some romance novels?
This is a perfect example of why you should never be blinded by love. Just look what happens when you open your heart to only one person. Makes a person act creepy. Isn't that right, Papa?
Yes, you are right.
The irony is sinning itself.
You have a mysterious power.
You have a shiny red power.
We want to know what it does.
Leave me alone.
It's not like he's trapped in there, he can just flee and join T in the cockpit, but then J and L will probably follow.
Don't be alarmed. I don't sound that scary now, do I?
You do, Reese. You sound very, very scary.
Who said I was scared?
He recovered without a battle. The very foundation of the universe is crumbling again.
We're just a couple of junior high students, but for some reason this whole situation with the world is being pinned on us. It's also overwhelming.
While I see your point, you also realize that you can make Puyos disappear and shoot magic spells in the process. Usually junior high students can't do that.
Then you better watch yourself, cause I'm about to wipe that smug look off your face.
Right. Let's go.
There was a localization error here. If you watch recordings from earlier versions, the audio on this line is from S.
Just, try not to hurt me, okay?
I guess localization got the speaker wrong when translating this bit. Then a recent patch changed this line to its current state, so all is well in the end.
Hey there, it's me, your favorite witch.
There's only one witch though.
Here's my story so far. I'm just trying to live an honest life.
Witch finally gets an introduction, though it coming from herself makes it a bit less convincing. Aquatic Ponds the Fish Naughty.
That was a kriller introduction, little landlubber. Now, why'd you have me flap my fins down this way again? Looks an awful lot like you're getting ready to boil up some crab. Unless I'm fish taken. Well, cork my blowhole. You dropped that act like a hot anchor. Oh, boy, that was definitely worse. You can't go and spook the fish before you cast your punchline. Whoa! She went from sweet fish to spicy tuna without much skipping a beat. Yikes! Reel it in, girl. Sketadara knows he's delish, but he ain't becoming no sushi dish. Never. Sketadara's got one last trick under his scales. Help! Somebody, anybody, toss this gorgeous fish a life preserver. Well, looky here, a freshwater face. Not important. We got bigger fish to fry right now. You cover me while I make a wave break for it. Thanks for helping me out, baby. Peace.
I'm stuffing you in that boiling pot if it's the last thing I do.
Which casually commits murder.
My name is Morrow. Beyond that, my memory's too fuzzy.
I wouldn't think about it too much if I were you. I get what you're going through. You get warped out of nowhere, you get a little rattled, you get a touch of amnesia. Happens all the time.
Didn't expect this bonding between Witch and Morrow, but hey, I'll take it.
You happened upon me, the kindest, smartest, most generous witch ever to have lived. And don't forget the humblest. Now, go on, take a swim.
The irony is, again, sinning itself.
Again, Draco? Sorry, Marl. She's got a bad habit of doing this. Will you entertain her with a battle? You know, let the baby have her bottle.
Oh, wait. Does she want a battle or a bottle? I'm confused.
Bottles are not known to solve problems in the Puyo Puyo universe, so pretty sure it's a battle.
Wow! That was fun!
Fun. I think the potion from earlier is finally working. Well, I better get going. Witch, Draco, I hope you both learn how to be more fun someday.
So turns out this arc happened just before Morrow started corrupting everyone. I have multiple issues with this. 1. Morrow is clearly sent by Square, so why is she not in her possessed form? 2. Maru spent a good amount of time not remembering what she was supposed to do, which shows that Squares is a terrible puppet master. 3. This also contradicts the prologue, which showed Maru remember her duty almost immediately after remembering her name. She didn't spend any time wandering around wondering what to do. 4. Since Witch and Draco reminded Maru of her duty via a potion and a word respectively, does that mean Witch and Draco are partially responsible for the mass corruption later? Could the mass corruption be averted if Witch did not decide to murder Sakedodara earlier?
There's no shortcut to gaining the power to defeat Squares. It's not something that can be done overnight.
But it is possible to clear this chapter overnight.
You're quite the hassle, X.
Yeah, you can be a real pain.
Too, Ringo?
Didn't expect a Shakespeare reference in the Puyo Puyo game now, did you?
You may as well save us time and just warp us there. You know, to the special training zone you created for us.
You left hints there for us too, didn't you?
This is slightly fourth wall breaking because the almost exact same thing happened back in Puyo Puyo Tetris 1 when they collected starship parts. Not that this coming from Ringo surprises anyone. We just had one chapter that paired up characters for arbitrary reasons, how about another one?
I guess this is the place.
Recycled background.
A cute mascot battle will soothe your soul.
Recycled battle setup. Come on now writers, you got better than that. Party mode is still here and this time it lasts 3 minutes. You know the drill, one scene for every second.
Let's try a smile. A fun smile.
I'll try my best.
Hey, that's a great smile.
You're killing it, Arl.
Killing what?
She's not literally killing. Oh, just forget it.
Hi T, I'm Dad. Also shout out to localization here. In the Japanese version, Ringo says "Aralo ikemen," which can be hard to translate across cultures, so they came up with this original joke, and also reinforced T's style character in the same time. Nicely done.
You know you want to.
Oh no, Amity also caught the echolo.
One more word, and I'll make this punishment 100 times worse. Punishment? It means we're battling. Yay! We're battling!
Joke's on you, she's into this.
Ugh, what just happened?
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Thrills, suspense, a battle between serious rivals.
This reminds me that for a competitive series, there are surprisingly no eternal rivalries established in the Puyo Puyo lore, at least to my knowledge. The likes of Kyoko Sanagi vs Iori Yakami or Kazuya Mishima vs Heihachi Mishima. All we have are one-sided rivalries, and somehow most of them involve Arl.
It simply must be talking about us. You and I are bound and gagged together.
I seriously suspect that the ESRB people didn't see this line.
How dare you beat my grandma so badly! In checkers.
They caught us in the first half, not gonna lie.
And that's not all. You tried to peek inside Reese, didn't you?
I don't understand why Ringo sees this as a bad thing.
Lovey, dovey, mushy, gushy. A battle of passion.
The writers are giving the Sims way too much screen time.
Wait, that means...
I see Amity is into that stuff. Well, there's a lot of "I want you" going on with Arl, Shazo, and Witch, so go watch them.
Grow up, Dark Prince!
And get back to work, Ekolo.
Oh.
Poor Ekolo doesn't even get an adjective of his own.
Well, if we're talking about love and mushy stuff, what better than a pair of adorable twins and a doggy?
You're okay with this?
Like they say, if you can't beat them, curl up in a ball and protect your organs.
He sees J and L as predators. Youch.
Beauty. Attractive legs, attractive battles.
And now the writers are becoming Sims themselves.
Huh. Rulu and Rafina are pretty similar, aren't they?
It does bring a question though, why? You know I don't like it when a new character is almost a clone of the existing one. And I know I'm seeing in the wrong game, but still, look at Rafina. Name starts with R, good at martial arts, bad at magic, has his queenly laugh, and yes, great legs. Heck, she also holds a one-sided rivalry towards the protagonist of her game. One can almost say Rulu and Rafina differ only by outfit, and that's not good.
Well, go on. Are you gonna dazzle the pants off us or not?
Most of them are not wearing pants though.
For someone with a bunch of fancy titles, you're pretty basic.
Who are you calling basic?
Oops. Touchy subject?
No, it's not. Don't laugh. It's not a touchy subject.
Yes, I approve of this teasing. More, please.
He looks like he's thinking about something really deep.
Sorry, I zoned out.
Never change, Zig. Never change.
Well, thanks for the battle?
Yep.
It was fun.
As a socially awkward person, I feel called out. Why is there a constellation of a panda eating a spiked ball?
Everything is my fault.
Whoever says everything is my fault is definitely not the one most at fault cliché.
Eventually, the need for someone to talk to got to me. That's when I used some of my powers and created squares. I wanted squares to represent order and what was right, and I made it so.
That's right, folks, we're talking to the goddess, the creator, right here.
Two unconnected worlds merged together. We stayed in the background and worked to separate the worlds again.
But according to X, he was the one to separate them.
Ultimately, we succeeded, and your memories of the events were completely wiped.
6 chapters later, we finally have an explanation to the universal amnesia. A bit late?
We'll finish the job.
And what exactly is it you're trying to finish?
You. Squares will definitely kill everyone. Here we go.
Preparations are nearly complete. I'm putting an end to all this. Let's see how you fare being erased from existence. You'll never see this world, or any world, again!
Is it Squares? Is he really that powerful?
No, that's not it. It's just, I see a bit of myself in Squares. My former self, that is.
I see myself in you, cliché.
Allie, who's there?
Didn't expect a Chronicles crossover, but hey, more Puyo Puyo history, I'll take it.
This feeling, I can't explain it. I feel so full of love.
And so begins the most annoying arc. Ellie says love so much I want to perform a pile driver on her. Note that before Ellie, we already have a character that spreads love and is much more charismatic too, Rizukuma. The comparison makes Ellie's character even less bearable. Anyway, one scene for every love.
This well of love never runs dry. Now, where to next? I've got lots more love to spread. But what I do know is that there's someone you love with all your heart. And you know what that is? Love! And what's better than love? More love! There's enough love to go around for everyone. Let's express our love for each other. I love you, Marl! Right! And there's no better way to fight sadness than by showing each other love. Because when you love someone, you trust them. And trust is something really special. Now, let's battle in the name of love. Cherish and nurture that love inside you. Use that love to share my powers with the one in your heart. When you find them, be sure to express your love to them, and
your powers are needed more than ever. You'll have to use them in the fight against Squares.
I hear you loud and clear.
At this point, Ellie doesn't even know who Squares is.
Our next destination is a bit out of the ordinary.
I wouldn't exactly call the last place we went ordinary.
Well, this one will be even more out of the ordinary. Maybe even extraordinary.
Finally, someone pronounces extraordinary the way it should be.
Hey, don't ignore me. Why are you making that face?
I've never seen anyone with such pure, untainted love. It's almost too much for me.
I don't think Marl is annoyed at Ellie, but it sure looks like she is. Squares will definitely kill everyone. Round 2.
This is where you meet your end. Everything you've done, everything you are. It will be as if you never existed. So trust me. I can destroy each and every one of you with my eyes closed. You're all going to be erased soon anyway. When the dust settles, I'll be the only one standing. I'm your opponent. Lower your guard again, and I'll crush you. You think I'm immature? You have no idea how powerful I am, do you? I'm infinitely stronger than you, and I'll prove it!
Moral: don't hurt squares. Everyone. Okay. Also everyone. Beat squares up 7 times in a row.
Why is he so obsessed with you? And why does he only care about what's right? I think I might have a hunch. Marl, is Squares...
I know what you're thinking.
But I don't. What is Ringo thinking? Is Squares a syscon?
Ringo, T, everyone. I've caused you all so much trouble. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for what I've done.
Now is a good time for me to comment on the story as a whole, so here we go. Puyo Puyo Tetris 2's story follows the villain formula to a T. Good guys suffer the bad guys' wrath, good guys build power, fight the bad guys for a few rounds, win by overthrowing their ideology and making them understand their wrongs, followed by redemption, forgiveness, and all is well. However, I don't think this is a bad thing. There is barely any other way to resolve a villain in an E-rated game anyway. And Marvel and Squares are some very well written characters in my opinion, each with their purposes, dreams, and regrets. For a party puzzle game about clearing blobs and blocks to touch on subjects of balance, maturity, and past mistakes is quite mind-blowing.
You believe me?
Of course. Why? Were you lying or something?
No, I was being sincere.
Then why wouldn't we believe you if you're being honest?
That's not how lies work, Ringo.
You know, I didn't expect everything to end like this.
Then what were you expecting?
I don't know. Explosions?
The flag has been planted.
He's blushing.
You're alright, Squares. I like you. I'm gonna have lots of fun teasing you.
Ringo the Onesan.
And thank goodness, everything's finally taking an upturn.
I hate to break it to you, but there's one more stage after this.
Insurmountable power is coursing through Squares as we speak. As a result, he's become significantly stronger.
I can attest to that. I blasted through every single stage on stream, but this one took me 17 minutes. Maybe I just suck, or maybe the difficulty curve is a bit spiky here, even for a final battle.
The worlds are trying to go back to the way they're supposed to be.
I don't think we have much time. The worlds are starting to split apart.
This is too cruel.
Let's say you knew from the start that we'd have to split up in the end. Would you have chosen not to meet us, so you wouldn't have to go through this pain?
Frankly, before playing this game, my answer to this would be a solid yes. There are many things in my past that I wish never happened, so I can have fewer reasons to scream into my pillow at night. However, after going through this story alongside Amity and S, I find myself in agreement with S. Their memories are well worth the pain. It is known that we tend to focus on negative things more than we should, causing them to disproportionately overshadow the positive. Maybe it's better to accept memories as they are, and accept the pain because they prove that these memories exist. In Amity's case, she doesn't get to keep either, and that's the last thing I want. Look at me learning from S. I'm sorry for calling you a brat. I mean, you are a brat, but you are so much more than that too.
We had so many fun and exciting adventures together. They were some of the happiest and wonderfulest memories of my life.
Amity makes up a new word.
One day, I'll return the kindness, and I just might pay all of you a visit. I don't know when or how it will happen, but I'll figure it out. That's a promise.
Oh, I know when and how. On December 10th, 2020 years time behind yet another limited time gacha in Puyo Puyo Quest. While we're here, one extra scene for Sega refusing to localize Puyo Puyo Quest as, well, Puyo Puyo Quest. What the heck is this?
1,
2,
I'll never forget you. You know that rule set that turns everything into a party? That rule set kicks my butt all the time. So now we can kick its butt together.
Party mode is not cooperative, so one of you will have to kick the other's butt. Again, this chapter is called a dream, so we will never know whether the events are canon or just the dreamer's imagination.
Who are you? And who am I? What is this place? What is my purpose?
For someone with the power to create literal incarnation of order, you'd think Morrow would inject necessary knowledge and memories into Squares alongside his body and power, but for whatever reason she did not.
I always wanted a friend, someone I could depend on. And that's exactly what you are, Squares.
From Squares' perspective, he was created simply to satisfy Marl's desires. A little rude for a living being if you ask me. Thankfully Squares is happy with this, but still.
I never thought I'd have to watch over the worlds in secret. Squares can't find out about this.
Find out about what?
Anything that can't be found out will definitely be found out, cliché.
I'm the person you become after a lot of people go out of their way to help you. How ignorant and naive I was.
Starting here is a roller coaster ride of plot twist. You think this chapter tells the story of the beginning, but no, it's Squares' self-reflection. You think this chapter is Squares' self-reflection, but no, it's a vision of the past conjured by Echolo in order to torment him. You think this chapter is a vision of the past conjured by Echolo, but no, it's a therapy session from Echolo, Dark Prince, and X. What a ride.
Hey there, Stairs!
It's Squares.
Come on, don't be like that. Let's be friends. I'm a fellow boss-level character who's made plenty of mistakes of his own.
His level of self-awareness makes me uncomfortable.
It's hard to forgive ourselves for the choices we made when we were different people. Especially when you think back on how badly you wanted those things at the time. But never forget how far you've come. And don't try to bury the past.
Didn't expect a life lesson in the Puyo Puyo game now, did you? This time is a win though.
It always comes down to the same reason. The selfish heart of a single person.
Are you, of all people, really
Echolo, quiet down for a bit.
All DLCs are free. At an age where every menu in every game is trying to grab your money, this is almost rebellious. A little complaint, however, is that at launch, Sega showed this image of a content roadmap. I think it's reasonable to interpret this as there being 5 DLCs planned. However, we learned recently that there are only 3, and Sega's explanation is that the asset was meant to show the characters being added. So either that image was misleading or some DLCs were cancelled last minute, and either way, it deserves a scene.
Red Wisp, come on! Blue Wisp, come on.
They fixed Ray's voice, thank you. I count 5 visuals I had with Puyo Puyo Tetris addressed in this game. Ringo sings, every stage has a story, Maguro receives an introduction, J and L have purposes, and Ray's voice is fixed. It almost feels as if Sonic Team watched my Everything Run Alright with Puyo Puyo Tetris video. If they did, it's an honor.
Keep clam and have fin